Welcome everybody here today for round 17 of European Race Night Division 1, and we are here in Russia. I'm Dame Zero, your lead commentator today, and just before we get into introducing my co-commentator, we just have to say that we did bring this race forward due to the F1 clashing at the exact same time. So today, unfortunately, we do have a much shorter grid here today, but hoping for still some excitement here from Division 1. But let's get into it. My co-commentator today, Mr. ERN Storm. Hello, David. How are we doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing just fine. A bit tired. Been moving house all week, so back to work tomorrow, and it will probably feel like a vacation.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I know you definitely have been busy over the past couple of weeks, and you still managed to come here for Division 1, which is always good to see. But unfortunately, David, only 9 cars on the grid today, which is a big, big shame.
Yeah, it is. It is. We announced the change of the start time well in time, but yeah, it is what it is. Happy that people are trying to make the best out of it. So
Well, there's definitely one upside to this for definitely the drivers is that no matter what, it's guaranteed points for them today.
yeah, yep, we will see. I'm a bit disappointed. I mean, we've it is what it is. But to
Indeed.
postpone a race is not that easy. We have a full schedule, and we had the plans for season 5 is on full planning, so everything with time and dates has to work. So
Yeah, unfortunately, nothing we can do apart from just change the time on the day, which we have done today, and it's definitely proved a big impact. But the racing point of Dazed Rhombus will be the first man to cross the line and set a lap time. Currently in the racing point, currently sat in fourth, no lap time set as of yet. We're 14 minutes and 50 seconds into qualifying, and the first laps are beginning to start. So let's go on board with the racing point as he heads down towards turn 2. He's had the kink in turn 1 done. Let's see if he gets this nice, locks up a bit on his front right and invalidates immediately and nearly loses the back end. So that's a big, big shame there. BC Legends now hits turn 2 and is now heading towards the fast left-hander of turn 3. Keep your throttle pinned to the floor here as you're taking it round. Going to take it as quickly and nicely as possible as you get into turn 4. Be careful not to run too wide here as that will invalidate track limits here are a pain as we head in to turn 5. Got to be careful of the exit once again for the track limits, and then in to the kink of turn 6 and into turn 7. Cuts it nicely but runs a bit wide and backs out of his lap there. Didn't invalidate, but he backed out of the lap as soon as he went wide there. So that's a big shame there for BCT Legends. Anybody else just about to come and start a lap? I think the next person to go out and start a lap will be FRA Keneal. I would like to say the current Div 1 champion, but unfortunately, due to lap from last week, David, he is now the former Division 1 champion, Bruno Will, sealing the deal for the Division 1 championship in Singapore.
yeah, super early to win the championship, and I hope we can bring in some more drivers to give him a real fight for next season. We have big plans for Division 1 next season.
Yeah, Division 1 is definitely going to be taking a course and definitely going to be getting spiced up for next season. But not to take any credit away from Bruno Will for sealing the championship. He's absolutely drove magnificent all season, and it'll be interesting to see if he can defend it next season, especially with the form he's on.
Absolutely.
But Keneal is currently the next man to set a lap. BC Legend sets a 1:33.8, but we all know he backed out of that lap time, so that is definitely not a competitive lap time. But here comes Keneal in the Mercedes. Currently down in turn 8 and into turn 9. Goes wide there, but gets it nicely hooked up and into the right-hander before the DRS straight. Gets a little bit on the curve there, may have sent the car a little bit further to the right than maybe he wanted. But let's see how he does now as he heads towards the technical sector 3, and I imagine sets a purple sector 2. He doesn't actually, which is quite surprising. So it's probably the game just glitching on us, but goes with the left-hander there quite nicely. This is one of the most difficult corners on the track with the off-camber corner. Gets it in nicely, tries to turn it in, Very nice there indeed. Up into fourth for that corner and accelerates out there. Goes a bit wide and gets a bit on the turf, but it doesn't affect him as of much as we go through the two right-handers now towards the start-finish straight. It's a very early start-finish straight here. And there it is, a 1:30.3 we have here from FRA Kinneil. So that's the quickest lap so far.
Yep, it's a good lap.
But one person that we haven't mentioned yet, David, as you pointed out before we did start the stream, is that we do have a new member here today. Well, not a new member, he is currently leading the Division 2 Championship. He is currently a point ahead of NRC Ireland, and he is here today in Division 1 in the Alfa Romeo. So I wonder where he's going to set his bar with the rest of the Division 1 boys.
He is one of the fastest guys we have in Div 2, and he is looking for Div 1 for next season. He is also super clean and a super good driver, so to fill the grid a bit, we let him race here in Div 1 tonight.
Yeah, and that's a 31.3 from Skeefy. May have not been the push lap that he wanted, maybe just a little banker lap there from himself, but Dave Rombus has put in a time also of a 1:30.3, only, what's that, 100th of a second behind Kinneil, so that's a very good lap there from the Racing Point. BC Legends has put it with a 30.7. Bruno Will, ABR Connor and Revilio are all in the pits. BRL Davidson is now just starting his flying lap in the Williams. Let's see what Jasper is going to put in here in the Williams. He's currently in Sector 3 with his hot lap enabled, so he is definitely on a flying lap currently. Let's see what he's going to do as he comes round the final corner. Where's he going to put it? He puts it P1 with a 30.2 in the Williams there, so that's a very nice hooked up lap from himself there. Just going to have a quick look now. The next person who I think is on a flying lap is BRL Davidson in the other Williams now, nearly invalidating it there as he goes a little bit wide, but he manages to keep it on the track and not invalidate it, especially with the track limits here in Russia. It is a big challenge, but let's see now as he hits the DRS and goes straight through the DRS straight, trying to get as much as we can. Now we're going to be interested to see what kind of setups these guys are running. Have they gone for the options of the Super Wings to really pounce down that straight and get on the back of their team, of their rivals, or have they gone for the more technical corners and trying to... Oh, there he goes! Oh, Davidson nearly losing it there and manages to save it, but he's backed out of that attempt and will not be setting a lap here and definitely back into the pits after that little oversteer through that corner.
We also recruited a couple of guys this week, and one of them is ABR Jasper and also ABR Evans. So yeah, we're about to fill the empty seats, and also those guys are in plans for the next season as well.
Yeah, Jasper currently sat on provisional pole, so that's really nice for him. I've noticed that we now have Presto in the lobby, so he's now joined us. That puts our driver tally
nice.
back up. So that's quite nice there from Presto to get into the race. So hopefully, maybe a couple more of the Division 1 drivers might be able to jump in.
Even if we're just 10, we have some really fast drivers here tonight.
Yeah.
And I also I just got a message privately from ABR Connor. He had to retire because he had something personal to do, but he will be here for the race. So.
Okay, not a problem there. I mean, ABR Connor, we all know, is a very fast driver anyway. He could probably start at the back of the grid and make his way through the field, and it'll be interesting to see how he can do.
Sorry, sorry he couldn't qualify, but yeah, he knows he has to start from the back, so.
Yeah, and another person who has just joined, David, is AVR Carbide, who you just said. He's now in the lobby too, so that's another driver for us in this qualifying session.
Perfect.
So we've now currently got the Red Bull of Revilio currently on a flying lap. He's just gone out of Sector 1 and is now heading towards the turn 8, I believe it is, the left-hander, and then let's see how he's going to do this. Now, cuts it a bit, doesn't take too much curve, which is good. The curves in Russia can be absolutely lethal, but let's see how he puts this lap in as he now heads into the DRS zone. A long, nice straight. Now, David, with a track like this, you got some very difficult corners. You got a couple of easy corners also, but you've got two massive long straights. Do you go for the very low downforce setup and go for? Oh, as he nearly loses the back end there, but manages to hook it up. Sorry about that. Do you go for the low downforce setting and go as fast as you can on the straights to stay on the back of your rivals, or do you go for a high-ish downforce setting and just put your car nicely throughout the corners to catch up on your rivals?
It's a track it's super hard to get a valid lap in. Track limits on this track is even more ridiculous than Codemasters.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, to be fair. That's a very good way of putting it. I mean, I was speaking to Fragstar yesterday, and Fragstar, the Division 3 champion from last season now, he's just bought F1 2020 on PC, and he says on PC, the game feels so much more better, more hooked up, and the car feels right compared to like an Xbox or the PlayStation. And,
yeah, I've heard it too.
And it's the question of why not. Now, Fragstar was asking this question to me yesterday, and I basically turned around with this response. Codemasters can barely code a remote, never mind a game to go on a different platform. So that is probably why. Now, I'm hoping with this new takeover of Codemasters, I can't remember who's bought them out, but I'm hoping they can develop a better game for next year. But currently, we do have some people on laps. I think Dave's Rhombus has just set a lap and he was 5 attempts slower on that occasion. Keneal is coming into sector 3. Revelio's invalidated, but I think he was on an in lap. Presto's currently on an out lap, I think. So I think the next person to cross the line will be Keneal. Let's see where he's going to put it. David, you're a good friend of Keneal. How has he been feeling about this race so far?
I mean, he has a really strong time trial time, and I mean, look at that lap, 29.9.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful out there. The first person to go into the 29s there is FRA Keneal, but we are yet to see the Division 1 champion of Bruno will appear out on track yet. So everything still to play for as Jasper is lining up to go for his next attempt. Currently trying to challenge Keneal with a 130.2. Let's see what he's able to put in, but let's just have a look on board. Is there anybody who's on a lap? Presto's about to start his. Carbine is on the medium compound size, which is interesting. The only person to go for the mediums here today, so that's very interesting to see where he's going to put himself with that. I mean, he will definitely get inside the top 10 due to Carnival retiring, but he will be starting the race, so he will put himself in the top 10. So going for the alternate strategy, David, with this many drivers, could pay off well for him.
I'm going to be super honest now, because, been moving house all week. I don't know the tire strategy around this track.
As far as I know, it's the bog standard soft medium. As far as I can remember, or a medium soft. So if he does this right and he qualifies nicely on the medium compound tyres, he could really put himself in a nice position to go long and then beyond them quick softs at the end, where he can really put the hammer down and put himself in a nice position. But let's see, as he currently comes round. It says he's on a flying lap, but I don't think he is, because his DRS hasn't gone down. Skeefy currently on a lap 2 along with Jasper. Jasper's about to head into the final corner for Williams. Let's see where he's going to put it. Can he challenge Keneal as he crosses the line? He does challenge Keneal and goes a 10th quicker and does a 29.8. So two drivers now dropping into the 29. Skeefy in the Alfa Romeo is currently into the second to last corner in that right hand corner. Hits the last corner now, gets it nicely cut there and comes across the line and improves by 4 tenths, but doesn't improve enough
30.9
to go up. 30.9 there. That's a really nice lap there from Skeefy, especially his first race in Division 1. So he's looking to see where he is against the rest of the field there. But I'm interested to see, David, what Carbide is going to do on these medium compound tyres. How is he going to get this lap all nicely wrapped up? I mean, we also do have a bit of information, David. Heavy rain at the end of the race.
Oh yeah, I saw. It will spice things up.
Indeed, it will definitely spice things up, and especially if it's heavy rain. I mean, we saw last week, David, Division 2 and Division 3 getting their just desserts in rain around Singapore. How was that for you, especially being in Division 2? It was a very complex race, to say the least.
I didn't race.
Oh, you
in
didn't?
Singapore.
Oh, you didn't?
No. It was the day when we got the keys
Yeah,
for
it's
the
the day
new
you
house.
moved, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ignore me, David. I'm used to you racing every week. It's never normally you
Yeah.
don't race. So
It's actually the first race I missed for like 2-3 seasons.
yeah, madness.
So
Absolutely madness. I'm so used to just asking you and you can give me an answer to that, but that's... God damn it, David. Why? Why do you do this to me?
yeah, sorry.
But
What's
yeah,
happening again?
Singapore was an absolute mess last week with the weather conditions. It went from full wets to inters to dries, then inters, then full wets back to dries. It made no sense in the amount of laps that we had, but it proved very entertaining, to say the least. Let's have a quick look now. Who's on flying laps? I think the Red Bull of Revelio is currently in Sector 3. Coming through the left-hander there. Oh, gets a bit of oversteer. That corner proving very, very difficult for quite a few drivers. It really is a proper off-camber corner. You lose a lot of downforce going through that corner as he now comes into the final corner, 31.3. He has set. What's he going to do? Does he improve? He does improve, but only by 100th of a second, which isn't going to make a difference for him to move up the leaderboard. As Carbine set at 33.1 on the medium compound tyres. So unfortunately, not the best lap. And Bruno Will has invalidated his attempt, waiting for the last moment. So that's a big, big impact there for our Division 1 champion.
Wow.
Let's have a quick look. Is Presto about to set a lap? He might leave it too late, actually, and I think he has. Presto left it too late. He was there
I'm
on the
not
edge.
sure. Oh yeah, he was.
I think he left it too late there, David. He was on the last corner and he was waiting for it, but he just went a bit too late. But hold on, I'm confused because BRL Davidson's just started a lap and can start his, but Presto can't.
Strange.
Code Masters, they just like to mess everything up. Let's have a look. Who else is on a lap? Bruno's currently in Sector 3, but unfortunately he has invalidated his attempt. Carbide is in Sector 1. Just trying to see. BC Legends, he's in Sector 3 currently, with the Williams behind him, and I think that's of Jasper, and Jasper's on an out lap and crosses the line and doesn't get another lap in, so Keneal could take pole position here if he gets a lap nicely wrapped up. But here goes BCC Legends into the final corner, currently 4th, and he does improve by 5 tenths and moves himself up into P3 with a 30.2.
Nice.
Can anybody challenge the top 3 here today? As ABR Carbide will be the next person to cross the line. Still out on them medium compound tyres, committed to the strategy. So let's see what he's going to do. Bruno will not be able to set a time. Conor not set a time. So them two will highly likely be starting from the back along with Presto. So 3 drivers starting at the back there. Carbide comes across the finishing line and he goes 6th on the medium compound tyres with a 31.2. So that's a really nice lap from himself. BRL Davidson crosses the line. He goes to 31.4 on the medium compound tyres. And FRA Keneal now in Sector 3. Can he take pole position away from Jasper? Let's see what he's going to do. Crosses round the final corner and crosses the line. And he does take pole position with a 29.7. And that's a really nice wrapped up time there. And he puts a 29.7 in.
Nice.
And takes pole position by a 10th of a second from Jasper. But I'll tell you what though, David. Am I right in saying that this is Jasper's first race? If I can rightly say?
It is.
But look how close that is between Jasper, Days Rombus and Keneal. Only less than a 10th of a second separate those 3, and less than 4,000ths of a second separate Jasper and Days Rombus. That's really nice there from Division 1 with that top 3.
Super close.
Very, very super close. I mean, definitely a big round of applause there for Jasper in his first race, challenging for pole position. So that's a really good a really good showing for him in qualifying. I wonder what he's going to be able to do in the race. But that's Canil, Jasper, Days Rhombus, Legend, Skeefy in his first race in Div 1, Carbine, Revelio, Davidson, Bruno, and Presto in the top 10 there. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out in the race, and especially, David, with this heavy rain incoming.
Yeah, that's going to be super interesting. I don't know on what lap, but yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for European Race Day Division 1 here in Sochi, here in Russia, should I say. We're here at the Winter Olympics stadium, should I say, or area, which is the perfect way to announce it, with this racetrack all wrapped up around it. It's a racetrack, it's a theme park, it's a ski slope, it's a ice ring, it's many, many things here. But today, it's our racetrack with 3 sectors, 2 big long straights, and 18 corners here today. A very technical sector 3 and a very fast sector 1 and 2. Sector 3 there to bring and slow the cars down. It's going to be very interesting to see what these boys can do today with this half grid. But let's see what's going to happen. We're here for European Race Day Division 1, and it's live! So David, one thing that's definitely going to be interesting is we know for a fact that Bruno has got this championship wrapped up and done. He's done absolutely amazing all season, but there is still places to gain in the championship standings, because between ABR Connor and Presto, it is only a 25-point difference, and Keneal is only 7 points behind Connor R. And then we have Boots, who unfortunately isn't here, who was 3 points behind Keneal, so Keneal can put a gap between him and Boots. And also, this can close the gap today for BCT Legends on Boots. He is currently 15 points behind Boots, so he can definitely try and get a gap closed there for himself.
Yeah, and I mean, from Canil's side, he have had screen freezes. He's been kicked out of the lobby. He has been taken out. He has got damage. He has been so unlucky. So he has done a recovery in the championship points. Yeah, it's super good.
Yeah, definitely been a tough season for Keneal. Unfortunately, definitely has been a tough season, but we'll have to see how he's able to wrap this one up here in Russia. The constructor standings, Haas at the top with 461 points, Alfa Romeo in second with 212, Mercedes with 208 in third, Renault with 173 in fourth, Williams with 135. So it is close between Alfa Romeo and the Mercedes. So let's see if Skeefy can get some points there for Alfa Romeo today in that seat. And the Mercedes with Keneal at the wheel, can they get any movement in the constructors' standings? But it is also close between McLaren and AlphaTauri. 129 points for McLaren and AlphaTauri with 121. So all to play for in the standings of the drivers and constructors here today, David.
Yeah, I mean, Haas is looking strong, but we will see.
Haas definitely a team not to be messed with this season. They are absolutely been running riot this season between Bruno Will and Connor R, and it has definitely been fantastic to watch, Dave. You've got to remember, Connor R, I think his first race, if I'm right in saying, was Baku?
Yeah.
Around that time, and he straight away off the bat was on the front row and battling Bruno Will straight away, so really tried to take the fight to his teammate immediately as he came in, which really did bring some entertainment. But one thing that we did see over the course of this season was that Bruno Will was in a league of his own this season and just absolutely took the fight to everybody.
Yeah. I just want next season to start with all new ideas for Div 1 and for more people to be there from the beginning.
Yeah, Division 1's new overhaul coming next season, and it's going to be very interesting to see what is going to come out and what is going to change for Division 1. But we're not that far away from lights out, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens here today, though, in Russia. So let's see what happens. The formation lap should be starting within the next minute or so, and we'll be underway for people to get going. So we do have 11 drivers on grid due to the Formula One once again clashing at the same time as us. We have decided to bring ours a little bit earlier so everybody here can drive, everybody here watching can watch the actual F1. So it's just one of those situations today, David, unfortunately.
Yeah, agree. It's a bit sad, but we will be back strong next week again.
Yeah, as always, Japan, the next track. It's the last track, if I'm right in saying, before the Christmas break, David. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Japan, the last track before the Christmas break, and the Christmas break, if I'm right in saying, is 3 weeks long after Japan. And Japan, a very technical track, David. It is a very, very technical track. In some places, very hard to overtake also. So it'll be interesting to see what Division 1 and 2 and 3 could do there next week.
Yep. Right. I think it's just under a minute left, then we are ready to go.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Yep, we have been given the green light and we are ready to go. And oh, look at that, Speedy just coming in a little bit too late. That man has literally probably just woken up, looked at the time and gone, oh no.
Yeah, we did our best to give out information about the time change. Yeah, it has been out for like 4 or 5 days, so people would have time to see it.
Yeah, big shame. I know Speedy works nights, so he's probably just woke up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but we're here anyway. We've got what we've got, and we've got to hope for the best, and hopefully a nice, good race. I'm hoping not from too many gaps here today, David, because we know we can have a big gap happen sometimes with few drivers. But I don't imagine that's going to happen today with Division 1.
It's going to be an interesting race.
With 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th and 11th all choosing to do alternate strategies. Davidson, Bruno, Presto, Conora, and Carbide all choosing to do the alternate strategy here today, whereas Revelio, Skeefy, Beastie Legends, Days Rombus, Jasper, and Keneal all qualifying on the softs, so they have to start on that soft compound tyre. So it's going to be interesting to see. So we're probably going to see maybe a little bit of a gap form between the soft runners and the medium compound runners, but it'll be interesting to see what happens here with the tyre strategies and if any safety cars could come into play with these tyre strategies.
Yeah, I'm not sure with the rain and everything.
I mean, one thing that could happen, David, that could work absolutely beautiful into the medium runners' hands is that they can take those mediums as long as they possibly could. Soon as the rain hits, change over to the wet compound tyres.
Yeah, if they can do that, that's going to be good.
Just looking in chat. Yes, Neo, it is heavy rain forecasted for the end of the race. Heavy rain for the end of the race. So these medium compounds could last until at least maybe lap 20. And if the rain even hits then, I mean, I'm looking now, David, it looks like it's definitely getting darker out there already.
Yeah, I mean, it's Russia. You can't trust them with anything else, so...
Yeah. Let's see what's going to happen there as we see the theme park in the background there as the drivers head towards the grid. Track limits here are definitely going to be a pain for some of the drivers. Definitely could be some penalties here today, but let's see what happens as we're here for European Race Night Division 1 as they all line up on the grid now. Let me get a good angle. The lights are going, but the revs aren't going up, so we know it's not going to start just yet. And the
Good job, Codemasters.
And the drivers are revving up now. And it's lights out. And away
Wow.
we go. The Williams in the background looked like he got an absolutely fantastic start there. Camille got a really good
what a
start. There's
start
three
from
abreast
Camille.
between Skeefy and BCC Legends. These Rombus is falling back behind as the slipstream now is coming into effect. And Camille gets ahead well, but here goes the Williams and the McLaren there, and it looked like the Renault of Presto trying to dive bomb down the inside there, and I think he's got wing damage and fell down to the back. Now BCC Legends is trying to catch up on Skeefy. Skeefy's had a mega start and is now in P3. That's fantastic from him in the Alfa Romeo. And that was Days Rhombus going a little bit wide there and nearly losing the rear end of the car as the Red Bull of Revelio pressures him going into turn 4. And now let's see how this is going to go. The medium runners, look at Davidson. The medium runner of Davidson got an absolutely mega start in the other Williams and is now into P5. But that was a really good start there. I noticed the Williams in the background really went for it, and he got a fantastic launch. Bruno currently down in 9th position on those medium compound tyres. I'm just looking now at Dave's Rhombus at the end of the straight. Is he going to make a move on BRL Davidson? He doesn't go for that move as Davidson locks up after the straight there. So a really interesting start there, to say the least. Skeefy getting a really good start. Davidson also getting another fantastic start from those medium compound tyres. So he's sat very pretty now in the middle there.
Absolutely. The start from Davidson is really strong. And on those tyres, he will be super dangerous.
Yeah, definitely so. And it'll be interesting to see who starts to drop back a bit as Days Rhombus is using his overtake to try and get Davidson and get the slipstream down the straight. DRS is not enabled for another lap, so it'll be interesting to see what the drivers can do on this lap with no DRS. I mean, if you're sat in this train, David, as here we go, Dave's Rhombus is right on the back of Davidson. Davidson may have made a mistake there, and he was really on the rear wing there as he brakes. It doesn't want to go in too late. It's Carbine and Revelio. Them two are battling. Revelio goes off the track a little bit there, but Carbine keeps starting. Here goes Bruno Will on Revelio. He's going to go for it, and he just backs out of that. He went to have a look at that move on Revelio, but backed out of it as Revelio cut that line off, which he was entitled to do, as I don't think Bruno was fully alongside him in that corner.
One thing we haven't discussed is track limits and penalties. This will have a big impact on the finish positions.
Yeah, track limits here are definitely a pain, as here comes Days Rhombus on BRL Davidson. He's going to take for the inside line at the end of the straight. Let's see, or the outside line I should say. Let's see how that's going to work, as Davidson doesn't pressure him back. And that is Days Rhombus up into P5 with a bit of a lock up there from himself. But if you're Davidson, you're definitely not going to be panicking at this stage. You're on the longer strategy. You just, as long as you stay within maybe the car in front's DRS, I think you're pretty okay. You don't, I don't think you want to be battling on the on fresh mediums. You just want to be in the train, waiting for these guys to pit, and then put your power down. But DRS is now enabled, and Keneal has got a 1 second gap to Jasper, so he's managed to pull that out. But Jasper did manage to get DRS, and here goes Bruno Will on Revelio, and Bruno Will has got that move done, and he moves into 8th position. A bit of grip happening there as soon as he hit the curb there on Bruno Will. Just took his car left, and there is the first penalty, David. As we said, lap 3.
Yeah.
BCT Legends, a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. So it definitely is going to be a big hand to play here today with these track limits. But Skeefy getting a really, really good start. Currently P3 in his first Division 1 race, and he's looking quite nice and tidy out there right now.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's P3, so super strong.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm looking at a couple of the medium runners now. Revelio on the softs has just been dropping back since the starts. That's not really the best of starts that he would have wanted on those soft compound tyres, and is now being overtaken by ABR Connor, and he's got that move done. Connor R moves up into 9th position there. So that is just not the greatest of starts there from Revelio, and Presto 2 seconds behind him, so he's got a bit of a gap there to Presto, but I wonder if that's going to close. Just not being able to kick those soft compound tyres into life yet, as he picks up a 3-second time penalty and pits, in fact. Did he have wing damage? Oh, he retired from the session.
Oh. Maybe he had to go.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there. BC Legends is pressuring. Oh, he's pressuring Skeevy down into turn 1. Skeevy tries to do the under and over and doesn't get the best of grips on the exit, and that puts BCC Legends into the podium places. But with that time penalty, David, could come into effect later on in this race.
Absolutely.
An early time penalty is definitely not what you want, because you've got to be cautious the entire race and try and put the power down, and everybody now knows that you have a penalty because of the gaps that you get of the penalties with the new update that Codemasters brought out. So you can never really hide that penalty away anymore. But we do have
The soft looks so much faster than the mediums.
the soft does look faster, especially with Keneal right now, but I'm looking further down behind BCC Legends on them softs, and you've also got the medium runners behind them just taking their time. They don't really want to battle, they just want to hold in the DRS to stay with them.
Yeah.
Once they pit, they've got clean air right in front of them, so it'll be interesting to see how this race turns about in the latter stages of this race. But still some very close gaps between people, but it is a bit of a DRS train. But Keneal currently pulling out a 1.7 second gap on Jasper and a 1.1 second gap from Jasper to BCC Legends. So BCC Legends currently not having DRS, and Skeevy now does have DRS, but I don't think we'll be catching up on this lap particularly. Let's have a quick look further down the grid. Bruno Will's not able to make a move on Carbide unless Carbide makes a mistake. He is close, he's within 4/10 of a second of Carbide, so it'll be interesting to see what happens between them two in the later stages. But currently on board with Days Rombus, who is currently sat behind Skeevy. 5 tenths behind Skeevy. Skeevy's first race, he was P3, now just sat behind BC Legends, who's now in P3, but has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. The only person though to pick up a penalty so far is Presto's in the pits for a set of hard compound tyres, David.
I don't know.
Maybe trying to go long, possibly. I'm not too
Yeah.
sure.
Do we know on what lap the rain comes?
We have no idea. We have been told it was the later stages of the race. So I imagine around lap 20 onwards. So I mean, apparently it is heavy rain, so it could really get turned up if people start putting the intermediate tyres on, and then the track is full wet, which could really shake it up even more. But we shall see. That is all to come as Days Rombus is the next person to pick up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings there, due to track limits here in Russia, as I'm now on board with Skeevy, who's trying to get on the back of BCT Legends, but here comes Bruno Will on ABR Carbine, and I think he's got that move done, and he does have that move done into turn 1 and moves himself into P7 as Carbine is trying to come back at him there, but I don't think he's got the exit to do that on this occasion, as I think that was Rhombus or Jasper picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So that's another penalty coming in there in Russia. Skeevy currently still within 5 tenths of BCT Legends, and Days Rhombus is behind him in 5th. BRL Davidson behind him in 6th. Bruno behind Davidson in 7th on the mediums. Carbine in 8th and Conor in 9th. So the medium runners are all still nicely packed together. So are the soft compound tyres. What lap do we think of we're pitting on? If I remember rightly, I think it's around lap 8 or 9, I think, for the soft compound tyres.
Okay, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Maybe some of them try to stretch it, but yeah.
Yeah, the mediums.
We know.
I think the mediums definitely can get to around lap 18 to 20. So they can definitely stretch that. And if the rain is coming and the rain is going to be significant, then the medium compound is going to work really nicely for them. Oh, Days Rhombus on Skeevy. Days Rhombus is going down the inside now into turn 1. Here comes this move, and Days Rhombus goes down the inside. Skeevy can't get the better exit there. And unfortunately, is it? In fact, yes, he does, and is now trying to challenge down the inside of Days Rhombus, but doesn't manage to get that move done. Conor and Carbide, them two are battling side by side through turn 3, and Conor gets into 8th position and gets ahead there of Carbine. And I'm just looking at Skeefy now, dropping down the order, but isn't losing too much time to the car in front as always. Definitely been put in the mix here, has Skeefy, and he's proven that he can drive in Division 1. But Davidson on the medium compound tyres, could we now be, in fact, David, at the crossover point where the mediums are starting to come to life more and the softs are starting to drop off?
Yeah, it really looks like that.
Yeah, Skeefy is definitely going to be under pressure going down the main straight. Days Rhombus is under pressure from Skeefy. Skeefy locks up, and so does Days Rhombus, and Skeefy saw a little bit of a gap there to try and challenge Days Rhombus, but backed out of that.
Bruno and Conor is just waiting for a mistake.
Yeah, Davidson behind, Bruno, Conor, them two are just watching this fight ahead, saying, go on boys, you two can do that and we'll pounce on any scraps you give us. Now I'm going to be looking now at this line. Days Rhombus is now 1.2 seconds behind VCT Legends due to that scrapping, and is in fact very, very low on overtake. But here comes Davidson. In fact, Davidson on the medium compound tyres really catching up to Skeefy. Is there any move going to be made there? I don't think there is on this occasion. But everybody just looking and waiting for any move. Oh, in fact, here comes Davidson round the outside of Skeefy. I think there was a mistake made there by Skeefy in the fast right-hander. He blocks up as he goes down the inside, but he gets that move done. Now Skeefy could be under pressure from Bruno Will, and here comes Bruno Will. And as he pulls out, but doesn't go for that move. He had a little bit of a sniff, but didn't want to take it. And Skeefy really being swarmed now on these 7-lap old soft compound tyres. Oh, here goes Bruno. Is Bruno? Oh, I saw a car move out there. I thought that was Bruno really going to send it there on Skeefy. Now, if you're Skeefy and you're dropping down the order the way you are, I think it's time for a pit stop, don't you? In fact, there goes Bruno Will on the... In fact, here goes Conor R2 on Skeefy. Both passes trying to get the Alfa Romeo Sauber into the same corner. And they both got the move done into the same corner. Bruno and Conor are moving up to P6 and 7th respectively. And unfortunately... Oh, there's wing damage. There's wing damage there on one of the Alfa Romeos. Who was it? I think it was Carbide. Carbide hit his teammate of Skeefy. It is left end plate damage there for him, and Presto's off the track too. Presto off the track in Sector 2 as BCT Legends comes into the pits. Here comes Carbide on Skeefy. The two teammates now are going to be battling side by side into turn 1. Who's going to get this move done? Oh, a little bit of contact there from Carbide on the front left of Skeefy's front wheel. But manages to get that move relatively easily. Skeefy trying to put as much fight as he could there, but unfortunately dropping down the order as the crossover point between the mediums and the soft have happened. Just quickly looking. Oh, a 5-second time penalty for Presto for speeding in the pit lane, and that's a retirement in the pit lane there. Let's have a look now on board with BRL Davidson. He is currently in 4th position on these medium compound tyres and is closing that gap to Rhombus with the DRS relatively quickly. Now these soft compound tyres are going to lock up there from Rhombus in the racing point, and Davidson really looking to try and maybe put some pressure on him to maybe use a bit more soft stuff, and another lock up there from Rhombus. Really struggling with these with the lockups, and I think he is going to come into the pits. Days Rhombus does, but so that is one of the soft.
Lost it.
Who lost it? Sorry.
Carbide. He's going into the pit, and he will probably retire.
Carbide lost it on the medium compound tyres. Currently in 8th position. Comes into the pits, and I saw he did collect one of the cones there, David, so that's interesting to see. Oh, as there goes, nope, that's Presto's retired car swerving off there to the left hand side. But Bruno Will and Davidson, these two times between each other, both on the medium compound tyres, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here with these two, as Davidson now picks up a 3-second tyre penalty. Conor also is within a second of Bruno. He's just waiting for the right moment, I think, Conor, just to wait to use some deployment and maybe pressure him. But as always, David, just looking with Bruno, look how much ERS this man has. Oh, he's going to make a move. He gets a better exit there. Oh, tries to do an under and over here. Get a good exit, and he does do an under and over. And now has DRS and is now into third position. Bruno will moves into third. And look how much ERS he has compared to everybody else. 86% ERS he does. So that is absolutely... He is sat nice and comfy right now as Bruno will. Conor will be the next task maybe to challenge the Williams here. The Williams in with the medium compound tyres. But I'm just looking ahead. Keneal now does come into the pits, and so does Jasper in the other Williams. So that puts Bruno into P1 currently. Davidson in P2 and Conor will move into P3 with these guys yet to pit. Will Skeefy come in this lap? Skeefy stays out for another lap, so 10 laps on those soft compound tyres currently. Keneal comes out on the medium compound tyres. Jasper comes out too, right behind him. So it'll be interesting to see if Jasper can maybe try and close a gap to Keneal and maybe get that move done on him. But Keneal looks very in control of this race so far, David.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just look.
Go
ahead.
Wonder when the rain is going to come and if it's going to benefit Keneal's strategy or if it's going to hurt him.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, I'm looking on board now with a couple of people, and I'm trying to see the weather, and I can't see the weather actually changing, David. Like normally you can see it progressively change throughout the race.
Yeah, it's blue skies still, so.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not too sure. By the way, David, I think your microphone's a little bit low. Is it away from your mouth a little bit?
Oh, better.
It might be my issues actually. Let me just check.
I haven't changed anything, so.
Yeah, it's probably me. It's probably me. Let's try that. Should be okay now.
Yep.
Right, okay. As we now have Davidson still behind Bruno Wilt and Conor behind him. Skeefy, 10-lap-old softs, does now come into the pits. He gets them soft compound tyres off, and I imagine a fresh set of mediums on Jaspers within 3 seconds of FRA Keneal. Keneal has pitted for fresh medium compound tyres, and I imagine will probably be setting a fastest lap. And you know what, David? I'm now looking on board with Keneal. Can you see a bit of greyness starting to come in down that straight? Like the tone of the skies moving different colours?
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I just noticed it then, so that'll be interesting to see if anything happens as Carbide sets the fastest lap of the race there and is now on the back of Skeefy, as these two now coming out the pits is Skeefy and falls behind his teammate of Carbide, and Skeefy's gone for another set of softs, David.
Yeah.
So maybe thinking a soft and then...
Soft, wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could
Interesting.
work.
Interesting. Now let's just hope for his sake that it's actually going to rain or he has to pit again.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, these guys at the front as well, David, Bruno, Davidson and Conor, these guys, if they can make this last to the rain, these are sat in a very nice position. Not many of them, they're not fighting with each other, they're just staying with each other with this DRS. But Bruno sat on 97% ERS, David, compared to
Classic.
the other two behind him of 60. So that's
Classic.
a huge difference. Let's see if any of these are able to do any moves. I don't think they are going to be able to, as Bruno will tries to cut off the DRS slipstream there, and he manages to do so and stay behind, stay in front, of Davidson. Davidson, does he go wide? He does go wide, and he's off the track, and he's round.
Oh no!
Has he got wing damage? I don't think he does. I think he just may have lost it there, and that puts Conor into second. So currently, a Haas 1-2. I'm just trying to get a camera angle here of the wing, and he doesn't have wing damage, so that's always good to see. So he can carry on with his strategy, but he's now fell 7 seconds behind due to that incident. Well, at least he doesn't have to pit immediately, David, and ruin even more of his strategy that he wanted to.
Yeah. Yep.
Days Rhombus currently behind BCT Legends on the fresh medium compound tyres. BCT Legends also on fresh medium compound tyres. Let's see now. Days Rhombus is currently in 7th position. AVL Connor now dropping 1.5 seconds, 1.6 seconds to Bruno Will. Bruno really just being comfortable at the minute, but let's see how it pays off when he does pit. There's almost the only man in DRS range now of BCT Legends. He's the only man within that DRS, and BCT Legends currently on 20% ERS with Dazed on 40%. So if he really puts a bit of overtake down the straight with his DRS, David, we could see a move happen here.
Yeah.
As Rhombus now comes round the final corner, does he get the slipstream? He definitely will have DRS here, as he now has DRS open. Overtake is now open. BCT Legends not using his overtake. Slipstream with that, and that is that move done for Dazed Rhombus. They head into turn 1, and Dazed Rhombus moves up into P6. Skeefy with his teammate of Carbide, these two in the Alfa Romeos. These two have been battling on the soft compound tyres at the back of the grid currently. Skeefy unfortunately had a fantastic start, David, a really good start, but unfortunately just those softs just seemed to die off a lot quicker than I think he thought they were going to, as I think that was Davidson there picking up another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings here in Russia. Now, I'm just looking, David, at the skies. I think the clouds are coming in.
Yeah, you're right.
Clouds look like they are coming in towards the end of the pit straight. That direction, I'm not too sure which direction it is, but if you look around there is definitely some clouds moving in.
Yeah, you're probably right, and yeah, you probably are.
So maybe we could see some rainfall here, David, around lap 20.
Oh yeah, it's not sunny anymore.
No, definitely not. The blue skies have gone, they have faded, and the Russian giant has came in and is going to maybe play a bit of hell and some havoc with these drivers. Now the medium runners could still be sat nicely. I reckon these guys will be able to do 20 laps on these medium compound tyres, and then onto the wets could be the perfect strategy here. But we shall have to see. BCT Legends is within a second now of Dazed Rhombus. Dazed Rhombus still got past BCT Legends last lap, and now BCT Legends is still holding that second gap. Skeefy still within a second of ABR Carbide. He's there now currently in 9th position. Still points on the cards for absolutely everybody here. Points on the cards, so that's always good to see for some of these drivers. But it's interesting to see. Gaps are beginning to form though at the top of the table. Davison 8 seconds behind now after a spin, and Connor are now 2.4 seconds behind his teammate of Bruno Will. But look how dark that is now, David. Look how quickly that has become. In fact, was that rain? I'm pretty sure I just saw a raindrop, and in comes Connor now comes into the pits actually.
Wow.
I'm going to stay on board with him for this pit stop.
Oh yeah, same.
Does he have wing damage is another question, and maybe that's why he fell off the back of his teammate. But I want to know what he's going for here. It's softs. Soft compound tyres. He doesn't think it's going to rain.
Wow, okay. Yeah, they didn't change the wing, so...
No. Maybe he thinks the rain isn't coming, and that's a bit of a gamble there from Connor, but it could work out nicely. Maybe going for an undercut there on his teammate. But I think it's going to rain. With those clouds, David, they've even brought those lights on. The lights are now on the track. It's got to rain.
I'm not sure what Connor is thinking right now, but yeah, we will see if it was the right move. But
Yeah, we will see very, very shortly. Days Rhombus is still
He will
behind.
probably get the fastest lap.
Yeah, he probably will. BC Legends has also got back ahead of Days Rhombus, so that's a good move from himself, but I'm just waiting to see. We all know what that little animation's like when the rain starts coming in. I'm just waiting to see that animation start and to see if it does rain and how heavy it's going to come in, David. I mean, we've got 11 laps to go. Technically, 10 laps to go with Bruno crossing the line now. 10 laps to go of this race. It's going to be very interesting to see how this race now turns out from here, because we've got an 11-second gap between Bruno and Davidson, and a 6-second gap between Davidson and Keneal. But Conor on fresh soft compound tyres, who doesn't think it's going to rain, is...
Oh wow, look how fast Conor is.
Yeah, he's got so much grip there, and he's currently in 7th position behind Days Rhombus. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out, because if it doesn't rain, David, Conor has done a fantastic undercut here and will absolutely be flying.
Absolutely.
And here he
right.
comes actually on Days Rhombus. He's already got this move done before turn 1 as he moves across, and he now moves into 6th position. So he is already flying as much as he can. Maybe just dropping off the pace with Bruno, and he knew that. So maybe with these soft compound tyres, was hoping that it doesn't rain, take a gamble, stick them on and see how you get on. But he's got 10 laps to do on these soft compound tyres, and 10 laps to pray that it doesn't rain with these clouds coming in. But he is absolutely flying, is Conor. Currently sat in 6th position. I imagine also he's probably going to get BCT Legends on this straight, because you just got to look at the exits he's getting, the exits and the grip that this man has. Overtake DRS enabled, and he's got that job done way before the next corner.
And still 50% DRS.
Insane. Actually insane. He's now 3 seconds behind the car in front. Jasper has actually closed the gap hugely on Keneal, David. Look at that gap. That gap's come down massively.
Oh yeah, it has.
That came down from 3 seconds before the pit stops. Now we is in a second of FRA Keneal. And let's see what happens here. He has got overtaken. He is using a little bit of overtake there as Conor sets the fastest lap also. DRS now enabled for Jasper. I'm just looking over to... We have a yellow flag in sector 1. I'm not too sure what that was for. Carbide and Days Rhombus. Days Rhombus has dropped back. Days Rhombus gets the move done on ABR Carbide as Carbide locks up and manages to stay behind, but I think gets a better exit there as we head now into turn 3. Carbide on the inside, Rhombus on the outside in the racing point. Don't touch each other, boys. And Rhombus stays ahead. So a big drop off for Rhombus, who was right behind BCT Legends at one point.
Oh, here's the rain.
The rain is falling. Here it is. The rain is falling, and that is definitely not good news for Conor there. He took the gamble, and it's definitely not paid off for me. Maybe could have been a Haas one too, but we'll have to see how it pans out and how heavy this rain actually gets. I'm looking at the back of Jasper too. Jasper is 3/10 now behind Keneal. Here comes Carbine as well around the outside of Rhombus. Carbine gets that move done, locks up a little bit once again, but this time does get that move done. Let's have a look now further up the grid. Has anybody decided to come into the pitch yet? I don't think it's anywhere near ready for some wet compound tyres. But I'm looking at Jasper now on the back of Keneal. DRS and overtake enabled. Not going for the full overtake, he's not using any of that, so maybe just trying to stay on the back of Keneal and wait until the wet compound tyres come on.
I'm not sure.
Skeefy there getting Days Rhombus, and he moves up into P8. Jasper now behind Keneal. He goes a little bit into the back of him there, just couldn't slow the car down a bit. And Jasper moving and trying to get past and to move into P3, but we have to remember Jasper does have a time penalty and Keneal doesn't, so that could once again prove crucial. And now Connemara is also on the back of this train now, David. He's now within 3/10 of Jasper. He's really caught up and is looking ahead of him. But this rain could have cost him even more. Here comes Connemara, overtaken enabled, DRS enabled, he's in the slipstream of Jasper. Is he going to try and make a move on Jasper? I think Jasper now has to make the push on Keneal, and here comes Jasper on Keneal. Let's see how this is going to go. Jasper goes down the inside of Keneal, and so does ABR Connemara. He's looking to go around the outside, does a cut back and goes down the inside. That was beautiful from Connemara. A little dummy there, and he sent it down the inside, and he moves into 4th position. That's a big shame for Keneal, losing 2 places in 2 corners, and Keneal pits. No, he doesn't. Went to juke for the pit, but doesn't do it, so that's not bad from him. Connemara now 3/10 behind Jasper and is looking at the podium position in front of him. And he's already got that move done before the DRS line. That's insane. He's got that move done. Wow. Jasper in AI mode for some reason, maybe recording session. Oh no, he's left the session. Maybe a bit of a lag out there.
It was lagging.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a lag out there from Jasper. But let's go further down the grid with Ski-Free. These two Alfa Romeo teammates have been battling all pretty much all race, David, at the back of the grid. These two have just been relentless with each other, to be honest.
Absolutely.
After this, I'm just quickly looking on board now with Keneal. Can Keneal stay within Jasper's AI? Because when Jasper gets back, he'll obviously want that, but I'm just trying to look at the surface of the track, David. I mean, the rain is coming down pretty hard, but it doesn't seem to be creating any puddles as yet. And I'm just looking at Carbide's left front tyre, David. Look how worn that tyre is, and in these conditions, that must not be nice to drive.
I've invited Jasper back.
Okay, no problem. Here comes Keneal. Keneal's now within 2/10 of Jasper, goes straight through the AI car and moves back up into 4th position. So that's a big shame for Jasper, managing to get that move done after all of that time, and just unfortunately lags out and moves down back into 5th position, unfortunately. Oh, Davidson into the pits. Bruno into the pits. What are they going for? Intermediate tyres on Bruno. Intermediate tyres going on Davidson. So this should be interesting to see. Bruno is the first one to make that jump to Inters. Is the Inters for Davidson as he just heads towards the end of the straight. Let's see what happens here. Is it Inters? It is Inters. So the first 2 drivers, all the drivers coming into the pits now for intermediates. The only ones staying out were Keneal and Connor.
Feels a bit early, maybe.
Well, I'm looking on board now with Connemara there. No, there it is. DRS disabled. DRS has now been disabled. So that means that it is too wet to do to go on the to have that DRS wing open.
I take it back. It's a lot of rain now.
Yeah, I was looking on board there with Connemara, who was going through turn 3, the fast left-hander where you really pin your throttle, and he was lifting in the middle of that corner. And I'm looking now with Bruno. Bruno right all over Keneal, and I think he's going to get this move done relatively soon as Keneal locks up there. Ooh, careful boys. And Bruno gets past Keneal, so yeah. 1 lap maybe too late there for Keneal on the intermediates, and it's really not paid off for him there.
How's Connor doing on the softs?
Connor he's struggling. He is really, really struggling on those soft compound tyres. Currently in sector 3, and I imagine, it's pitting a BC2 Legends for tyres.
Oh!
I'm not too sure what that is, and that's a safety car.
That's a safety car.
That's worked beautifully into Connemara's hands there. That has worked absolutely beautifully for Connemara and Keneal. Keneal, 12 seconds gap between him and Davidson apparently, but I'm looking further back and that's a lie, I can tell you that straight away. Connemara now in his pit box. Keneal will now also pit. Davidson will now probably move into P3, but Connemara's already on the exit of his of the pit lane. So this could be very interesting indeed. Connemara really might have timed as well, as Davidson just gets out ahead of Connemara, and with that penalty, could be under threat there. But that safety car definitely proved a saviour there for Conor. Unfortunately, I think Keneal was a bit too late, unfortunately, for that one. I think he was a bit too far back, and the gap behind him was a bit too close. As Carbide pits for full wets.
Wow, full wet.
And in fact, David, I'm looking at the track on board with Skeefy. That looks very, very wet.
It does.
This actually now could be. We did say we were told heavy rain at the end of this race, and I did say at the start of this race, if we go from dries to inches to wets, it could really shake this race up. Has Carbide made a jump that he can see happening? This is going to be very, very interesting because Bruno Will is now behind the safety car. Carbide's going to be closing in as much as he possibly could. So will all the other drivers who are stuck behind the safety car. Now, these guys think
Bruno almost crashed with the safety car.
He's getting a bit itchy to get past by the looks of it, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's very impatient today, is Big Bruno.
Hurry up, hurry up.
I think it's full wets, David. I actually think Carbide may have made the right choice.
Yep, let's see.
I think it could be full wets here, but Carbide is too far back, I think, to make any change about this. But let's see what Bruno does. Let's see what he does. Let's see what Davidson does and anybody else. Nope. So the top two stay out. The top three, the top four, all decide to stay out. Anybody else going to pit for full wets? See, this could even work out. This could work more into Carbide's hands because if he catches up and then the weather does change even more and get more and more drastic, he's in a prime position if anybody else pits in front of him for the full wets. But we shall see. There's 5. Ooh, Carbide nearly loses it there, in fact. As a bit of overtaking between the AI of Jasper and Conor. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here, definitely. This is really shook the race up. 5 laps to go now, behind the safety car. It's anybody's game, this, at the minute right now.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Last couple of laps when the safety car goes in will be really interesting.
Indeed. It will be very interesting. But let's have one little quick conversation, David, and I'm going to take it from this Formula 1 to the real Formula 1. David, are you looking forward to the race that's happening, I think, is it 45 minutes time?
This will probably be the most exciting race of all season.
It's very interesting. I mean, this oval circuit that we have there in Bahrain, I mean, how many, isn't it like 80 laps or something like that we're doing?
I love the track. I told Camille we were in a party right before this, and I love the track. I want to drive it so much.
Yeah, that middle sector looks very interesting, the little S's that can really cause a stir, but I'm really looking forward to George Russell, to seeing how he does in the race especially. It's going to be very interesting. Let us know, the viewers, what you guys are hoping for in this in the race tonight, as the safety car is in this lap, and for some reason Davidson's moved up into P1.
Okay.
I'm confused. But Bruno, it looked like Bruno moved over to let him go into P1, so I'm not 100% sure what's happened there. Maybe some Codemasters glitch telling him to let him past, I don't know. But knowing Codemasters, that's probably highly likely the option. Or should I say, the reason. As now we have Davidson getting us underway once again. When's he going to go? We've got to be careful on the restart here, boys, because if you lose that car, it's not going to be forgiven. As we do now get back underway, is Bruno going to pressure already? Carbide has already got a better exit than Days Wombus and moves up on them full wets. So this is going to be interesting to see. Bruno with 3 tenths behind, and Jasper is behind him. Is Jasper back in the car? I don't think Jasper is back in the car.
Not.
So I'm not too sure. Maybe some connection issues for himself. He did drive a good race though when he was in the car. He was driving a fantastic race. But one person, I'm going to be honest with you, David, I'm keeping an eye on his Carbine with his teammate. So to compare these two with the Inters and the wet compound tyres, I'm keeping an eye on that time. let's just look ahead. Bruno currently 0.6 seconds behind Davidson. Jasper 5 tenths behind him and 6 tenths behind him. Canelo dropping off with 2 second gap between him and Connor. And you know what? Maybe it isn't time for the wet compound tyres. David Carbide seems to be struggling a little bit out there.
Yeah, it looks like that.
But it does look rather. It does look rather wet. It does look rather wet out there. So I don't know if it's going to get any heavier as Jasper loses the position there to Connor. He's currently in 3rd position. Jasper in 4th. Jasper's AI currently just driving as an AI always does, but the AI always needs to get better in the wet, so that's unfortunate there. Let's have a quick look. There are gaps, unfortunately, David, beginning to form here. We have 2 laps to go, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But 2 laps to go. Gaps are forming with this wet weather, and Bruno's dropping off actually to Davidson. Bruno's really dropping off, in fact. He's now 1.4 seconds behind him. I mean, I know Davidson has a penalty, but I don't know how many. It's in fact, he's got 6 seconds of penalties as Davidson. Jasper also having 6 seconds. Days Rombers with 9 seconds and Skeefy with 3. So Davidson really needs to pull out a big gap to get rid of Bruno. And in 2 laps, I don't think that's going to happen here. I think Bruno can just sit there comfortably, just stay within that 6 seconds, and he'll be absolutely fine. And that will highly likely also cost Davidson P2, and Conor will move up into P2. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Conor
only 2 laps to go, so
yeah. But I'm also looking at Conor, and maybe Conor can smell a bit of a victory too, because he's now within a second of Bruno. And if he challenges his teammate here, and he's going to be very interesting to see what happens if Conor can get this move done on Bruno. But Keneal is now 8 tenths behind the AI of Jasper. He's currently 8 tenths there, and Conor it's just within that second. He's just bouncing between the second and 9 tenths. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Both Hasses have plenty of ERS, should I say, as always, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So David, we are heading into the final stages of this race. Who are we going to say is a contender for driver of the day so far? Who are our contenders? I mean, there's not many to pick from, unfortunately, today, but
yes, so far I'm looking at Connor starting from the back.
Yeah, Conor has done a really good job. Skeefy did a fantastic job right at the start of the race. Unfortunately, those softs just didn't help him, and he dropped off very quickly. And look at that, David. ABR Carbide, 8 seconds. Oh, in fact, Carbide loses it there, going through the fast left-hander. So those wets definitely weren't the right tyre.
Was the wrong decision.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Carbide. Took the gamble though. He did go for the gamble, but you know what I'm looking at, David? If Conor didn't pit to those soft compound tyres, where would he be right now? That is a question I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, yep.
If he didn't take a gamble,
probably a question he will ask himself too.
Yeah, I can see that 100%. As there goes Keneal on Jasper's AI. And Keneal moves up into P4. A tough race out there for Keneal, unfortunately. A very tough race. Just the strategy didn't pay off with the rain. It's just unfortunate there, the pole sitter not being able to take that one. But we are now moving on to the final lap of the race. Davidson currently sat in first, but with 6 seconds of penalties, is highly likely going to gift that win to Bruno Will. Conor is sat behind and will probably also be taking advantage of those penalties and moving up into P2, which will put Davidson into P3. But am I right? I am right in saying this is Davidson's first race or first couple of races?
Yeah, I think so. As I said a couple of races ago, he's been super unlucky. he has the pace to be on top of this division. Absolutely.
Yeah, Davidson definitely has a good future here in ERN. Definitely at the top of this,
Absolutely.
top of Div 1, especially with challenging Bruno Will. He's definitely got the pace to maybe push Bruno Will a little bit, but maybe just needs to work on his penalty issues and maybe track limits. But that is also not all entirely the driver's fault. Codemasters, as we all know, like to screw everybody over. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do at a track where track limits aren't actually an issue. But Davidson, heading into the final sector now, we're getting closer and closer and closer to the end of this race. In fact, Skeefy's trying to get closer and closer and closer to the back of the AI of Jasper. He's trying to make up some more positions there. But as we head towards the front of the field, last 2 corners to go for Davidson. He will cross the line P1, but unfortunately will not stay there. But he can be proud of this race. Davidson crossed the line in P1, but Bruno will take P1 here in Russia. Conor will take P2. Davidson in P3, who broke his wing on the line there, so I'm not 100% what happened there. Keneal comes across the line, takes P4. Jasper in P5, but drops to Skeefy and Days. One more to take 5 and 6. Jasper in P7, and Carbine will wrap this up for us in P8 with 27 seconds behind. Tried to take the gamble, unfortunately didn't pay off for him.
Really good job from Skeefy. Really good job.
Yeah. A fantastic job there from Skeefy in 5th position in his debut in Division 1.
Racing with the big boys.
Yeah, racing with the big boys. Currently, I'm pretty sure he's either a point ahead or a point behind NRC Ireland in Division 2. So it'll be interesting to see how he does here tomorrow, and I bet he is hoping for no rain tomorrow either, like he had today.
Yeah, especially I've got 0 practice in, so.
Oh, David, I've barely done any myself. Like, it's not looking good.
My drive off today is going to be Connor for sure. P2 starting from behind and didn't do qualifying, so super strong.
Yeah, the game agrees with you, David, and I think I'd agree with you too. For me, it's either going to be Skeefy or it's going to be Conor. Conor because of the places he's done, and Skeefy for the impressive performance that he has done here today in his first race in Division 1. But there we go. Bruno Will, a very familiar sight of him on the top step of the podium. A 1-2 for Haas here today with Bruno and Conor with Davidson getting 3rd position in that race too. A very unfortunate race for him, just picking up too many penalties, but he's managed to do it on this occasion and get himself a podium position. But what a race that was. Conor also getting that extra point for fastest lap there, David. So very nice drive there from Conor.
Yep. It was from P10 to P2 and the fastest lap. Wow.
Yeah, very good drive there from Conor. A very interesting race. We'll definitely have the full grid back here tomorrow, next week, due to issues with Formula 1 in real life clashing. We've had to bring this forward, or bring this a bit more earlier. So unfortunately, I had half a grid today, but it still proved very entertaining today, David.
Yep.
But that is going to be it from us today here at European Race Night. We will be back tomorrow for Division 2 at 7:30 UK time, and I think 8:30 Swedish time, which I'm right in saying is your time, David?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
right.
you're an hour ahead. I always try and remember that. I always say my own countries and I ignore yours, so I try to be fair. 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Swedish time. We'll be back tomorrow for Division 2 on Monday, which is tomorrow, and Tuesday for Division 3 at the same time at 7:30 and 8:30. So we'll all be looking forward to seeing you there here in Sochi for the Russian Grand Prix. We've been European Race Night. I've been Dave Zero alongside me, Mr. ERN Storm. We'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.